All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Ron, and I am a student of Kabbalah. And I'm here with David, who teaches Kabbalah. And just wanted to chat a little bit. And I wanted to just, ask David a few questions. But David, could you say a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I am
Mhm.
this the study of Kabbalah for me has been going on for probably about 20 years. And it's not my full-time gig. I have a business that I run. Um, but it's become like a real passion of mine for, the past literally couple decades.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I do have to say that, like, the last time we were together, like a couple of years ago on Zoom talking, you were interviewing me about my experiences. So, like, this is cool. Like, the tables have turned, right?
Yep,
Um,
absolutely.
and I do enjoy it. Like, I'm in your classes and I love, taking your classes, and it's really awesome. So, but could you say, like, what what is Kabbalah? Like, what exactly is Kabbalah?
So I guess
In-
the easiest thing to do is refer to the primary text of Kabbalah, which is the Zohar, which is a book that was it's like 2,000 years old, written by Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, following the destruction of the Second Temple, and it represents insights into why the world is the way it is, and insights into what our experience about life is. It gives us insight into our life. So for me, it's very practical, and I think for the students that find their way here, also, it's a very practical um, wisdom to assist us in understanding our life and what goes on around us.
Very cool. So the question is, like, how did you end up doing this?
So I about 20 years ago, I reached a point in my life where I was just asking the question why a lot.
Hmm.
And I come from an Orthodox traditional background where I was doing a lot of things all the time that are required for that lifestyle, but not, and knowing that they're required, but not knowing the reasons why. And so I had this insatiable thirst for, like, why are we doing the things that we're doing? And I wasn't getting a lot of really good answers. And, like, for a lot of people, they don't need to know the why, and that's great. For me personally, I was in search of the why. And so, someone sent me a copy of a book called The Power of Kabbalah, and I was like, I don't think that this is something I should be studying, even, let alone spending, let alone teaching. But
Mm.
I said, let's give it a look and see, maybe it'll resonate for me. And it resonated for me very strongly. And that was kind of like the launch pad for me in terms of my studies. And then I started, pretty much I was keeping it to myself. I wasn't really sharing it with anybody. But somehow the word got out and people started coming over to me and saying to me, like, I understand you study Kabbalah. I'd really like to know more. And that has mushroomed over the past 20 years to the point now where I teach classes Monday through Friday on Zoom, and we study the Zohar, specific portions of the Zohar. A lot of those sections pertain to the portion of the week. Sometimes we're studying a specific book, but the bottom line is it's all Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai's and his students and others. It's their illumination of the what we know to be the Torah, what we know to be the five books of Moses, and the other writings that were divinely inspired. So it's a way of understanding those holy writings and how they apply to our life, giving those stories present moment relevance. And I think for me, and again, not everyone needs this, but for me, I need to know, like, what is the relevance that this has to my life now? So many things we do during the day, if they don't have relevance, we're not doing them. Like, we only do, I have a job, I have a family, I have relationships. Like, the things I'm doing are relevant. They're important now. But yet, for some people, like our spiritual life, like, we're doing it like because we know we're supposed to do it. But, like, what does it mean now? What's it doing for me now? And so to me, that's what the study of Kabbalah is all about, is informing me of the present moment relevance of the things that we do and why we're here. Like, why are we here?
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, I love how you say like you're looking for the why, right? And there's people who, like don't ask why, and then there's people that ask why. And I think that like in my opinion, it's why you do what you do. Like if you know why you do what you do, then it makes sense, right? So I think that's really
It's also very personal.
yeah, it is very
Like, it's
personal.
like, if what's important to me might not be important to somebody else, and that's fine too. But we're
Mhm.
all unique souls.
Yeah.
And part of the study also is like understanding, like, we're not physical beings that have spiritual experiences.
Hmm.
We're spiritual beings having a physical experience.
Yeah.
And so if I'm a spiritual being having a physical experience, what is going on? Like, where is my soul? How do I connect to my soul? You know, what is my soul's purpose? Like, what am I here to do?
Yeah. Great. I did hear some, you said when you were talking about when you first discovered these teachings, you were saying that you weren't sure if you were supposed to be, or like you weren't sure if you were supposed to have access to this, or you're supposed to be studying this in the first
Right,
place.
right. Yeah, there are traditional restrictions on the study of Kabbalah, and in some communities those are still adhered to. But most of the world, I mean, the world all over is studying Kabbalah. I mean, in North America, clearly, definitely in Israel, in those places, and certainly other places all around the world. And
Yeah.
there are certain communities where they never lost that study, like the certain Sephardic communities. They're
Mm,
still, that's such a huge part of how they understand the relevance of what they're doing. But for some communities, primarily the Ashkenazi community, Eastern European communities, a lot of those, they kind of lost that connection. So I grew up in that kind of environment where we didn't have the connection or access to the study. And so, I like to think that my soul is guided on this path.
yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
So what would you think if you were to look, right? Like what would you think would be the most significant, like the most significant difference that being, involved with Kabbalah, studying it has made in your life?
I think it's helped me create a more purposeful and meaningful life. And
Mhm.
that's not for everybody, but if you
Yeah.
are looking for more purpose and meaning in life, if you have questions that you just can't find answers to about your life and about the world around you, this represents a path to pursue to get more clarity on your life and develop more purpose and meaning in your life. And also, a big part of it is to gain more certainty about what's going on and what you should be doing. Like, what is my soul's purpose? It's like, if you know what you're doing is purposeful, it takes on a whole new meaning. And it's not like, I don't wake up on certain days and I don't know what I'm doing, but I have a baseline. I have like a a philosophy. I have access to information that helps me to develop that purpose and meaning behind the things that we do in our life's experiences. And I think when you have that purpose and meaning, you have the opportunity to connect with a more joyful and happy existence.
Yeah. I was there's this quote that it's been going around. It says a man without purpose shall perish. You heard that before?
No, but it makes sense to me. I mean, perish can be either physically, or it just can be in terms of, when you look at it, you can have a life but feel very unfulfilled. And in that sense, your soul has been snuffed out, has been limited. So much of what the study does is to more fully manifest our soul, and in the form of manifesting the best version of myself. So, the study has also assisted me in being so much more introspective in a positive way about why I experience certain things in a certain way, how I have become more present to what my feelings are and what relevance that is. And ultimately it helps me, it sets me up for a more joyful day.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
So, so one last question for you. What advice would you give somebody new to spirituality?
So I think it's great to there's so many spiritual modalities out there, and they're not for everybody, and people gravitate to different modalities. Um, I think that um, I think the question to ask is like, how is this helping me in my day-to-day life? Like what value is it creating for me? How is it helping me to grow, to become more aware, to become more present, and to create more consciousness about the things that are really meaningful and really purposeful. So that I mean, I tell when I talk to students, it's like you're on a certain trajectory. I want to be on an enhanced trajectory to do more, to accomplish more, to share more, to help more people, and to change. You change yourself, you literally change the world. And you're like, well, is that really measurable? One soul of 8 billion? It's not a quantitative thing, it's a qualitative thing. And yes, as we change and we elevate and connect more to our soul and we see a more purposeful life and kind of get over our hangups and let go of things that aren't serving us and connect with more positivity. I mean, I think those are the things that I think we all should be asking ourselves, whether you're on a spiritual path or not. But in terms of like, if those things resonate, I think it's important to delve into spirituality. And for me, delving into Kabbalah has made all the difference.
Yeah. Awesome, David. Well, thank you so much for contributing today and, for your words of wisdom. I really appreciate, like what you shared. And I'm sure, there's going to be so many other people who will, get value out of it. So thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you.